one of the crew for about 6 of those years.
The new kid on the block is coming after the old hired guns. He's going to see if he can battle with the big boys tonight, chasing these renegade points.
All right, Army, so on a foggy night here in Virginia, we're ready to crown the king. USA 1 against Carolina Crusher, they're off.
Side-by-side Chevrolet final. Here we go, Richard, the first jump. USA 1 a little bit of a lead. Now the Crusher starts to come back on him. We're lining up for the second jump of cars. I don't know. They're both a little bit off course.
And across the finish line, who was it? It looked like perhaps on the inside, USA 1 had the little bit of an edge, but we're going to have to wait for the official word. Did Rod Litzow win his first ever race as a rookie driver? Yes, he did tonight. He's down with Army Armstrong.
This is your first time to drive the truck. You go right out top. You beat the best in the country. Congratulations to you from all the fine people at Renegade.
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without everyone behind me that built the truck and that. The truck's running really good. It's designed to do this, and we're going from here. There's a good start, and we're going.
Let's go on with Richard and Army to Louisville, Kentucky, as they host the world's first monster truck figure 8 races.
We're ready for more quarterfinal round competition. Clydesdale against Awesome Kong.
Awesome Kong on the inside gets a good start. Clydesdale's going to have to really leg it to pull from the outside of the track. Awesome Kong right where he wants to be. On this part of the track, he works the bottom side. He can finish going to the outside of the track. Tremendous ground speed as he approaches the cars for the first jump, Richard.
Steve Dane out of Texas, and Awesome Kong takes it up and over easily. Meanwhile, Bennett Clark and Clydesdale just getting across them. It's a nice lead right now for Steve Dane as he heads around turn 2, headed for the final car jump.
Dane exactly where he wants to be, working the high side of the track for the second half, approaches the cars for the finish line jump. It looks like he's going to advance to the next round.
He certainly will. That is Steve Dane from Texas. Awesome Kong, the winner here. He'll move into the semifinals. And meanwhile, Bennett Clark and Clydesdale coming across, but they're going to head to the pits and call it a night. But we're not going to call it a night yet. All right, we are ready to go. They're off and running, just showing off against Stomper.
Hallfager gets a hole shot, puts a local boy in a bad spot. Witt said earlier, he has the horsepower to come back on the second half of the track. He's going to have to do it. The Ford jumps on the inside lane. The Chevrolet's got to really dial the horsepower in now. It looks like he's coming on him, Richard.
Paul Huffaker with the lead, but here comes Mike Witt. Mike Witt with a tremendous surge of power goes around Huffaker.
Huffaker has to go to the high side. Witt got to be granted from ear to ear. The horsepower seems to be working. He's hanging outside the Stomper Chevrolet.
All right, it's going to be a race to the finish now as Mike Witt and Stomper 1 heads for the final set of cars. He is up and over. Mike Witt is going to win it over Paul Huffaker, and just showing off, Mike Witt and Stomper 1 is your winner. A tremendous race in Louisville, Kentucky. Let's go trackside with Army.
Mike, a super run between you and Paul Huffaker out of Houston, Texas.
Thank you, Army. It was a real rough one.
We noticed when you came across the last jump, there was something that looked like bounced around. Do you think you had any damage on the run?
Well, I just noticed looking at the truck when I jumped out of it that the front drive shaft was broken universal joint. So depending on if I can get it fixed or not, depends on how I have to run in the final round, because with front drive shaft, a couple trucks have flipped before, so you can push it a little harder with the front drive shaft. So we'll wait and see.
It's kind of a unique part of the sport he brings out. You've got to have the front wheels to keep pulling the front of the truck down once they land.
That sets up our final race and quarterfinal round competition. Bigfoot, a winner in the first round against No Problem, a loser in the first round.
Bigfoot, one of the Mountain Motor vehicles. Rich Hoosier doing the driving, known as a Charger. On the inside, Moore, who advances by virtue of having quick round as a loser in the first round of eliminations. He's running him an awfully good race. Hoosier's got his hand full with No Problem.
Yeah, looks like No Problem is having no problems, or is he? Wait a minute, No Problem. And John Moore is backing off the throttle.
Moore backed off the throttle. Hoosier grabbed a handful, got a lot of air, and it looks like some blue smoke starting to come out from underneath Bigfoot, Richard.
All right, Bigfoot, of course, had a fire earlier in his first round of competition. Maybe a little bit of problem there. We'll have to find out. But Rich Hoosier is going to advance to the semifinal round as he is up and over the final set of cars. Rick Hoosier, your winner in Bigfoot, but is there a problem with that machine? We're going to have to go down and talk to Rich about that. Meanwhile, it's No Problem and John Moore easing across the final set of cars. Rich Hoosier and Bigfoot, your winner. Let's go to Army.
I'm going a lot faster on that far side over there, causing all the oil and the oil pan to get over on that side of the motor, which is coming out the breather on that side and splashing all over. We shoved a rag down in there so it'll still breathe, try to soak up some of the oil, but it seems like a little bit more still coming out.
I'll tell you what, the Battle of the Monster Trucks definitely living up to its name tonight, Rich.
Yeah, it's getting tough out here tonight. It's a long track, gives you a lot of time to catch up, and a lot of time for problems, too.
All right, so Bigfoot will take on this vehicle, the Stomper 1 machine of Mike Witt. And there's a lot of wrenching going on. Let's go down to Army Armstrong.
Gail Medford, one of the team drivers on the Stomper. Gail, what exactly is going on behind us with the vehicle?
Right now we've got a front U-joint out of it. We do have a U-joint, so we'll get it all back together and we'll be back.
So you will be back in action chasing the Fords?
We'll be back in action.
So now the stage is set for the semifinals. USA 1 against Awesome Kong.
USA 1 quick qualifier goes to the high side. I don't know, we might have a Donnybrook here. Awesome Kong holding him on his hip. He's pushed him to the high side of the track. Steve Dane lined up perfect. He's right where he wants to be, Richard.
Steve Dane out of Texas may be pulling off a big upset as he is up and over. Meanwhile, Rod Litzow in USA 1 is close on his heels.
A lot of RPM when he came off the jumps on the Chevrolet. He may have some type of transmission problem as blue smoke starting to appear from beneath the vehicle.
Meanwhile, watch Awesome Kong, Steve Dane out of Texas, trying to upset your top qualifier tonight, and it looks like he's going to do it now. USA 1 is out of it as Steve Dane and Awesome Kong goes for the win. He moves into the finals. This is a major upset, Army.
Definitely an upset as a quick qualifier of the evening looks to be having some type of transmission problems. The owner going over to check on the truck. Rod Litzow doing a superb job of driving it, but USA 1 will have to wait for another day to go to the winner's circle.
Well, just because you qualify first doesn't mean you'll win it all, as we just found out. But now we're ready for the other semifinal. Bigfoot and Stomper 1.
Chevrolet versus Ford. This one alone is worth the price of admission as Stomper trying to hold off Rich Hoosier. Mike Witt on the inside, Hoosier on the outside, side by side as they approach the first turn. It's gonna be a war. Bigfoot starts to come on him.
Up, 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 both of them. Look out for Mike Witt. He has flipped it. Mike Witt has flipped Stomper 1 and the Chevrolet. The safety people running over right now to him. Smoke coming from the machine. Army Armstrong has run down there now to check on his condition. Mike Witt and Stomper 1 probably could have won this race in that Chevrolet. He is out of it now. He is out of the car. Look on the replay how high he went up. Bounced down right onto the nose. Flipped over on the driver's side. Mike Witt is all right, unbelievably. But this means Bigfoot has won it, and really it was a lucky win because he had a flat tire, which meant that Stomper 1 probably could have won this race. Let's go down to Army Armstrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Witt for the second time in his pro career has gone head over heel high-sided the Stomper Chevrolet in one of the most gruesome flips we've seen. Now, Mike, number one, you're okay.
I'm fine, man.
I tell you what, a tremendous race going. Of course, your old rival Bigfoot, you represent the Chevrolet camp, him the Ford camp. Can you tell us exactly what happened?
I really don't know, Army. No idea.
Well, we're glad you're okay. We're going to let you get back to his crew, ladies and gentlemen. The final is set up. It'll be a Ford out of Texas and a Ford out of Missouri. No love lost between these fellas. Steve Dane wants to put Rich Hoosier away. They come out side by side. Dane's working the inside. Hoosier's going to have to go way, way around. Dane drops down on that inside. Is working good for him, Richard. He looks like he might be able to hold him off as they get ready to go over the first jump.
Here comes Steve Dane and Awesome Kong. He's going to be the first up and over. But here comes Rich Hoosier and Bigfoot.
Hoosier gets a lot of air, but immediately the Ford sounds a little bit different.
And he has shut it down. Something wrong with Bigfoot. He is out of it. Rich Hoosier has shut Bigfoot down. That means your winner, the champion in Louisville tonight, is going to be Steve Dane and Awesome Kong.
Dane motors across the final jump to take a well-deserved win. This kid has been pumped up. He wanted to win it tonight, and it looks like he's going to do it.
Oh, you can tell how happy Steve Dane is, popping out from the cab, waving to the crowd. There he is, your champion tonight, Awesome Kong and Steve Dane over Bigfoot and Rich Hoosier. We just received word that Rich broke the throttle linkage. Let's go down with Army Armstrong now and the winner.
Steve Dane, congratulations on a well-deserved win.
Thank you, Army. This is a tough track. First time TNT put on a figure eight. Takes a little getting used to taking left-hand turn, right-hand turn. It's a high-speed track. I had more horsepower, I think, just about everybody here. Me and Stomper got the bigger motors. I knew I could get him once I got in the flat ground. He has a good working suspension, that Bigfoot, and I had to get ahead of him to make sure I wouldn't lose any time over the cars. He must have had some kind of problem because after that last turn, I didn't see him, and I just backed out of it a little bit.
When you get to the final, it's a knockdown, drag out for that first place. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
So 3 major stories tonight. Steve Dane, the upset winner, and Awesome Kong. Bigfoot breaks in the finals, and Stomper has a tremendous flip.
The competition remained fierce the next day in Louisville as Bigfoot and Awesome Kong returned, along with Stomper 2, driven by Marvin Smith.